different guy in Indiana that Kevin just alluded to, and that being the Eastern Conference semifinal series between the 6th seed, you heard that right, 6th seed, Indiana Pacers, who barely avoided the play-in, but now they're moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals as the Pacers beat the New York Knicks, the number 2 seed, in 7 games in the Garden. This series was split after 6 games with the home team taking every single game, but the Pacers end that, and they also end the streak. I mentioned the streak a couple weeks ago that in the 7-8 playoff series that these two franchises have had against each other, the team that won game 1 went on to win every single series. That has obviously now been broken. So Indiana, they achieved a lot there. So Kevin, I'm going to toss it to you first, since you were alluding to the man, the myth, the legend, that is Tyrese Haliburton. What did you think about this series overall?
We talked about it after the in-season tournament. We said if you don't know Tyrese Haliburton, you don't know ball. And now he's putting it in the Madison Garden. You know, he's going in there and he's sending them home. He's talking shit. You know, he's wearing the Reggie Miller hoodie. He's like this. He's letting them know that I'm here and we're not here to fuck around. Every game you hear him say, you know, we're not the betting favorite. No one wants us here. So it's a win-win. At this point, we're a small market team going up against the big stage Knicks. If the Knicks were healthy, would I have believed they could have still pulled it out? I don't think so, but it got to a point where 5 out of the 7 starters in the rotation were hurt for the New York Knicks. So I know everyone will sit here and say, you know, they were hurt this, they were hurt that. They put OG Anunoby out there knowing all he can do is shuffle. My man couldn't even run. He had 2 shots, magnificent 2 shots that no one thought he was going to make. But them rushing him back just really shows the Tom Thibodeau of, if you can breathe, motherfucker, you can run up and down this court. That's it. That's all. That's all we need. And the Pacers said, you sure this is what you want to do? And the first 5 minutes, everyone who got a shot off against OG went in. 5 for 5. And they said, you know what, OG, you just got to sit down, man. You know, we thank you for what you've done. And I know he wanted to go out there and fight for his guys, but you can just see that these guys have been running to a wall. They've been playing guys 45 minutes from game 1 of the last series against the 76ers. So eventually it was going to come back to bite them. And I know everyone's going to say this is Tom Thibodeau's fault. Tom Thibodeau's fault. He shouldn't do this. He did it with Derrick Rose. When they sent off all those guys for their standing ovation and they subbed in players, I had no idea who they were. No idea. Never seen them, and I watch a lot of basketball. I don't know where they used to play. I don't know where they went to college. Nothing. These are guys that they just picked up on the way to the stadium and said, hey, we got 3 extra jerseys. You're not going to play, but you can sit there on the bench. And they're like, fuck it. Like, I'm cool. We're not going to play. Hey, man, I'm just sit here and do my thing. Jalen Brunson had a remarkable playoff run, putting him as arguably one of the top point guards in the NBA. So it's definitely great to see. I really hope that he's able to go play for USA. I'm believing he's not going to. So now that is 2 spots that are questionable for the USA team. I don't know if Kawhi Leonard's going to play. So now we have to have that conversation of who might take those last 2 spots. But the Knicks just ran out of gas, simply put. You know, they put everything out there that they did. Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, Bogdanovich got hurt. Like, these are all freak accidents. I don't know if you guys remember, but Joel Embiid body slammed Mitchell Robinson. That's how he got hurt. So, I mean, these are just miraculous injuries. You know, Jalen Brunson's going down for the ball. He's done that probably 1,000 times in his NBA, or not even the NBA career, just his career playing basketball in general, and it's just a freak accident. But this run is going to benefit the Knicks very much in the future because we made it here a game away from the Eastern Conference Finals with shit on our roster, with Josh Hart scoring 22 points a game. Josh Hart at the beginning of the season was a role player. Now he's playing 45 minutes Iron Man. They had to tweet on a national app to say, he's come out the game. You got to believe this? He came out the game. These guys, I get it. It's the Villanova Big Three. They got all the who and the ha. Jalen Brunson's dad's on the staff. This Cinderella story was going to have to come to an end eventually. I would have rather see them all go out fighting. I have a real mean vehicle to bid with DraftKings. You know, Toddy, I was talking to him. I called him as soon as he went down. I said, look, bro, I'm hitting every other leg. What are they going to do? You're fine, Kev. You're good. He got hurt. Sent it to him. He said, damn. Cold world, man. This is something we like to say on the podcast, but the Knicks, they showed a lot. This young Pacers team is really just, I don't know if you heard, Shaun, but I was telling Toddy at the beginning, they're in a win-win situation. You know, they can lose 4 games and be like, you know, we weren't supposed to be here. We're the Indiana Pacers. We're just solidifying that we are in the right direction moving forward. Now you know for sure Pascal Siakam got to resign. That was one of the biggest things seen after that trade. What does that contract look like? And it looks like a max offer deal because he's been going out there and being their second best player. Now, I would really love to see this team with Benedict Mathurin still, but I get him and his brother mixed up all the time. Which Nembhard plays for the Pacers? Andrew?
Andrew
Nembhard. He is a showstopper. He's coming in and doing his thing. They have Toddy's old guy, the shooter. He went to Vanderbilt. Why am I not remembering his name? Neesmith. Aaron Neesmith. So they have a bunch of basically toys that were thrown to the wasteland. The Knicks said Obi Toppin for a second. Here you go. Take him. He just won a dunk contest. You know, that don't do nothing in the 82 regular season. But the Pacers are on the right track. They have a lot of great things to look forward to. And we're gonna get into our takes later, so I'll save my take for then. But yeah, man, I think we might be seeing a lot more of Tyrese Halliburton.
All right, Toddy. Well, this is your future opponent. I mean, future as in tomorrow, starting tomorrow in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, were you satisfied with this result? Would you have rather played against the beaten down New York Knicks? Because I disagree with Kevin. I believe if the New York Knicks were 100% healthy, and this is no shade to Indiana, but as I've talked about in the past, the New York Knicks were just playing with a different level of chemistry with the Villanova Knicks. And you add in Hartenstein turning into a solid NBA player. I mean, he's always been a solid NBA player. Let me rephrase that. But just becoming a starter with the absence of a Mitchell Robinson, with the absence of a Julius Randle. And so I really liked what I saw from the New York Knicks. And all I'll say about the New York Knicks with this series is that I really like what they have coming back next year if they're healthy and the nucleus that they have established. But also, if they find a way to somehow, some way, and I keep saying this, get Mikal Bridges, the New York Knicks are going to win an NBA championship because that chemistry would just be absolutely bonkers. But Toddy,
Jay Wright.
I guess so, right?
Retirement. Sorry, Tom. Thibodeau, we got to bring in everybody from Villanova, and we're going to run it back in the pros.
At least Jay Wright would only have Josh Hart play maybe 46 minutes a game rather than 48. But, Toddy, what did you think about this series overall as the Pacers finished the Knicks in 7 games?
You guys kind of hit everything on the head there. I just think the Knicks were a little bit too depleted. You saw kind of going into the series like, hey, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, DiVincenzo, OG, they're all playing like 40 minutes a game. Like, is that going to be sustainable? Oh, it doesn't matter. They're all hooping. And then OG, hammy. You got Josh Hart, abdominal, I'm out. Jalen Brunson, broke hand. Like, it comes to a point where it's just like when you just have your guys are just falling out and, on the injury report consistently, and Mitchell Robinson's already out, and Bogdan Bogdanovic was a no-show for this series, and Julius Randle obviously torn labrum. So it's kind of like this was what's been the constant for this New York Knicks team is, are they going to be healthy? And yes, Jalen Brunson played his ass off the entire series and has probably cemented himself as one of the top point guards in this league. But it comes down to your best ability is availability. And a lot of the Knicks players were not available. And does that have something to do with Tom Thibodeau's coaching style? Could be. He does have a track record of running guys into the ground, as Kev already mentioned, Derrick Rose. But I do think that this Knicks team has a lot to look forward to, as Kevin also already mentioned. They got to a Game 7 with, Deuce McBride and freaking DiVincenzo's going off, having 39 in a game, who they did lock up during the season, which was very smart, because if he was playing for a contract this year, he'd be getting like close to like an $80 million contract. And I think they have a lot to look forward to going into next year. They do have draft picks if they kind of want to get frisky and maybe trade for a guy. But I don't think that will be necessary, because I think that this team healthy can get to an Eastern Conference Finals. Now, as far as the Indiana Pacers, you got Tyrese Halliburton wearing the Reggie Miller hoodie after the end of the game. You have
should have worn it before. Wear the hoodie before the game. That
would have been time.
Hey, man.
He played it